Hey everyone, I'm coming back today with another sketch challenge from paperissues.com, and today's sketch, I'm doing it at the very end of the day, so you won't get to see this until tomorrow or the next day whenever it gets uploaded, but this is a sketch I'm going to be working with today. This sketch was made by Stephanie, it looks like Ocampo. And it is a pretty simple sketch here. It just looks like it has mostly an outer layer and then like a torn piece here in the center and maybe a little bit of torn piece up here. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm actually going to flip the sketch a little more, and my title is going to be different than this because for what I have in mind, I'm going to be using a cut file for this section right here. So this is the sketch, and like I said, that's from Paper Issues, and I've got this challenge. They're doing a 31 days of sketch challenge. I've done a few days, not every day. I just have been really busy, and I'm going on vacation again this next week. I'm going to Las Vegas to visit my son and his wife. So yes, I'm crazy. I'm going to Las Vegas in July, but this is just how it all worked out. So I'm going to work on this one. So I'm going to be using that sketch. And I am also going to be using these Heidi Swapp Sun Chaser papers, but this actually came in a kit from the scrap room. So this was from their June kit. And this was one of those. I am going to use a lot of this kit today. For certain, I am going to be using this gorgeous rainbow sunset piece. I am going to be sadly covering up most of the sun here with my cut file, but I think you'll like what I have going on once I get done with it. I will also be using this piece for sure in the layout. So those two for certain. This one, I'm not sure about. If I use anything on this layout today, it is going to be this backside, but I don't think I'm going to use this one today. I think this one I will save for another layout. Oops, sorry, I hit my camera there. And then I will also save, well, I don't know, I might be using this white sheet as well. Put that one over there because I know I won't be using that one today. As you can see, I already cut my cut file out, and I am trying to remember where I got this cut file from, guys. And I don't know. Let me go back on my Cricut and see if I can figure out where I got this from, because I got it not that long ago. And I just maybe have to go look at the name of it to see where I got it from. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out, because I like to give credit where credit is due. But just, oh, I think it's from Pear Cut Files. I think that's where I got that from, peartreecutfiles.com. Yes, I'm pretty sure I did. So I am sorry about that I could not remember, but I did just look it up. And Pear Tree Cut Files looks to be the winner there. So this is the cut file I'm going to use. My husband and I just went on a road trip to Fredericksburg area in Texas. That's in the Texas hill country where all the wineries and everything are. So we took a trip up there. It was really pretty and it was really fun. And so I'm going to do something based off from some of those photos, which I haven't printed yet because I'm not quite sure which photos I'm going to use yet. You guys will see as we go. But this is what I'm going to use instead of that torn piece that went this way on the sketch. I'm instead going to go this way, and I'm going to use the cut file. So I'll be back in just a minute once I get this all done with, what I want done with this cut file, and then I will show you how I'm going to put it all together. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to pop back on real quick and kind of show you guys what I have done so far to prep. I have taken the sunset sheet, and other than the green on the bottom, I have made slits in it and roughed up each of the edges. I do have an idea for this, so we'll see how it looks once I get done. I did leave this one down at the bottom because what I plan to do is I also backed this part of my cut file. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with these letters yet. I think I'm going to use my shimmers paints and then use the negatives from these and color them in and pop them up. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to see if I like that I'll leave that process in here if I keep it. If you don't see it, it means I didn't keep it. So my plan here is for this to kind of go in this area right around here somewhere, kind of centered. And my photos, I did print them out. I printed out a couple of photos of some friends of ours and us as we carpooled together and went on this road trip together. And so these are the two photos I'm going to use. I really like, because I've got the sunset kind of in the background there. It's not the greatest shot of the sunset, but it is kind of back there. So I think it goes well with these papers. And so this is kind of the plan going forward. I am going to go ahead and see if I can't make these letters look pretty with some of my shimmers, and I will be back with that process in just a moment. Okay, so as I said previously, I'm gonna give a shot at just adding some shimmers to the negatives of the road trip that came with the cut file. And at this point, I'm using, from shimmers, I'm using Lover's Lip. That's the pink, and that's an Inklings. And I am using Dandelion, which is a Creamies, for the yellow. And I'm trying to kind of blend them in the middle to kind of get that little bit of an orangey tone with it. And so this is what I'm going to try to do with all of the letters. I'm going to skip ahead here so you don't have to watch me paint all of them, but this is basically what I do with them, is just kind of add that pink first, then come in with the lighter yellow, and then try to blend them in the center of each of the letters so that we get kind of that sunsetty look to it. I did decide to do the pink and yellow for all of them, even though the word trip is down on the greens. I really just wanted the pink, orange, and yellow of a sunset. I didn't really want the green parts anymore, so I decided to keep it consistent. I just, on the word trip, I did the yellow on top instead of the pink on top and the pink on the bottom. So here it is. I have those all finished. You can see them there. I even already have them up on some foam. I decided to do that off camera so you guys didn't have to watch me struggle to put all the foam and take all of the foam off. At this point, I'm just laying it in there just to kind of make sure that I like how it looks. And I do. One thing I did do is I came back on the yellow portions and I added some Bumblebee shimmers. It's the original shimmers, just to give it a little bit of a deeper yellow tone right there on the edges of the yellow part of the road trip. And I really like how it turned out. It gives like this nice deep yellow. It's harder to see on camera, but in person it really does blend and it really shimmers really pretty. The shimmers, the original shimmers, have so much shimmer in it, like it's literally just painting glitter on your page. They're just so pretty. And so I did come back over that with the Bumblebee shimmers. So at this point, I am just cutting down my photos, and I decide that I'm not going to use anything to matte these photos. There's so much pattern and prettiness going on behind everything with all of the printed paper and the colored in letters that I really didn't want to detract from that. So I just left a thin white border around each of the photos, and I put them in without mattes. So at this point, I went ahead and I just tacked down the road trip. Like I said, I put some foam, adhesive foam, behind it to have those kind of stand up. And what I was showing you right there, the stuff I'm sticking on there now came with my kit from the scrap room. It's just some of the ephemera. And on the little white card that says on the agenda, I wrote wild mini donkeys. The story behind that is that we rented a tiny house to stay in on our first night on our trip, and on the description, you know, on the Airbnb description, it said that sometimes you could see wild mini donkeys. So that was our main goal that whole
evening that we were there and the next morning before we checked out was to try to find some wild mini donkeys. Unfortunately, we did not see any. That was a bummer of the trip, but we did see a donkey, just wasn't a wild mini donkey. So that is why it says wild mini donkeys are on the agenda on that little piece of ephemera. I have also dug into one of my Hip Kit Club. I think it was June's Hip Kit Club kit. And with that kit, I got the Simple Stories Let's Go chipboard pieces. And I also got that whole sticker book of Heidi Swapp stickers from the Sun Chaser collection. So with my scrap room kit, I got all of the photo corners, but I didn't want to use those on this particular page. So I just kind of have them set aside, and I'm looking through the whole sticker book to find some things to go with this particular layout. So up on the top, I have a couple of ephemera on the agenda, which I cut in half and only used half of it. I have a little tab that says Better Together, and then I used a piece of the chipboard that is a map. Since we were on a road trip, I figured that was very fitting. Down on the second photo, the one that's above trip, I used one of the stickers, which is of a cactus. We saw a lot of cactus because we were in hill country, and there is a lot of cactus because it's the area in Texas where it's almost like it's starting to turn into desert. Like, you know, I live on the east coast of Texas, which is more tropical. It's very humid. We have palm trees. And then you go to central Texas and you're kind of in that deserty / hill country area where it's like it's transitioning. And then on the west side of Texas, it's kind of deserty or plains looking. So we were in that area where it was kind of starting to turn to desert. And so we did see a lot of cacti. And so I felt that that little cactus sticker was appropriate. At this point, I am going ahead and I'm using the rest of that Heidi Swapp sheet that has all of the phrases on it. And I know it's kind of funky looking because I cut out part of that cut file there, but in a second here you're going to see what my plan is for that. I did want some of that peeking out from the underneath. So what I decided to do with the slits is I cut off some of the slits that I made in the paper, which this was my plan from the beginning. And then I'm just kind of rolling them up a little so that they have a little curl up there. In a second, I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to pause it and do it off camera. I will glue the sheet down so that it's not moving all over. But this is the gist of what I wanted to do. So over on that right-hand side, I'm just cutting the little strips at different lengths and just curling them over a little bit just to give them a little interest, okay? Like it's just peeling away. So I do that pretty much all the way down to the green on the right side. And there we go. I've got it glued down now so you can see how far I went down on the right side. I'm just going ahead and attaching some of these things because they kept wanting to fall off. And I knew that's where I wanted to keep those pieces. The chipboard, it doesn't seem to stick very well. Even though this is a newer chipboard, at least it's newer for me. I just got it. It just does not want to stick to my pages. I haven't even prepped that page or anything. It's just a plain regular piece of printed paper, but it just didn't want to stick. So I go ahead and I usually add some wet glue to the back of that as well. Sorry about my fumbling here as I'm fumbling around trying to peel the backings off from that foam. I have been struggling as of late to get that stuff off from there. So sorry about that. I actually thought I took this part out so you didn't have to see me fumbling around, but apparently I didn't. I was going to tell you guys earlier when I was talking about the cactus that I had put some other, first, that little geotag that says "You Are Here," I actually did put that on the state of Texas on the map. So I thought that I would share that little detail, that I was trying to be quite accurate about where we were. I had that geotag originally down by the second photo, but I don't know, I kind of put it up there just to get it out of the way at one point, and then I thought, wait a minute, I have a map up here and I can see the United States and even where Texas is, so I decided to put it up there. And here I go. I'm just curling a couple of parts on the left-hand side. I do not do near as much as the other side because we have the photo and then all of the ephemera and chipboard pieces up there on the top. So I really don't want to take away from those. So I'm only curling in a couple of places. Most of the strips, I'm just tacking them down. They still have the scuffed up edges, so they still have a bit of dimension and interest and texture going on. So I really like how that turned out. The biggest place I'm going to curl is just up on the top. As you can see, I'm going to go with this one, cut that off just a little bit and curl that in so we can see some more of that pretty printed paper underneath. And I mostly have everything on this page that's going to be on there. Over there on the second photo, like I've tried to start telling you a few times and then get off topic. I have a few of the stickers from the sticker book. One reads "Laughing Out Loud" because we did a whole lot of laughing on this trip. And the other one says "Best of Friends." And that one was actually like a banner, like a fishtail banner. But I tucked the banner underneath and just used it as a little tab. So at this point, I'm just getting that cactus finally stuck down. I just had it as just the plain old sticker, just kind of stuck it there for a second, but I knew I wanted it a little dimensional since it's up on the P from the word trip. And it doesn't stick very well to the Shimmers paint. So I put some foam adhesive on the back and propped them right up there. So I am also going to use a couple of epoxy flair from Scrap and Happy Studios. I bought a couple of trip and travel sets from her the last time I put an order in, and these two came from one of those sets. I'm going on 3 different trips. I've gone on one. Tomorrow we leave for another, and then in August I am going again on another trip. So I figured I would have a lot of trip pictures, and so I needed some trip flair. So there's a couple of them that I put on there. One says "Let's go," and the other says "Go the Scenic Route," which we did. And for some of the finishing touches here, I am placing that big car that came from the chipboard pack. I just thought that was adorable, and this was the perfect place to use it because it is driving down the road there. I just thought that was perfect. And so there he is on the road. I just pulled another sticker from the sticker pack, and it says "Explore," and I decided to just put it right there above the bottom photo. And I think that is pretty much it. So here's a few little close-ups here. You can see all of the dimension and the texture and the cute little ephemera and chipboard pieces. There's that little bit of sparkle on the titles. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you like it, please hit subscribe and you will be notified whenever I upload another video. I hope you all have a great day. See you next time.